Welcome to Financial Flight Academy with John Schuetz and Brent Connelly from Soar Wealth Strategies. In this podcast, we inspire families and business owners to build a foundation for their financial future. We do this by listening and building trust with our clients. Join us for this journey where we explore ways to protect your nest and live out your dreams as John and Brent draw from years of experience and guest experts to help you take that leap of faith.
Today's guest is a small-town Nebraska girl that's been baking her way into the hearts of people for many years. If you have a sweet tooth and want to support a great local small business, this is a story for you. Welcome to Financial Flight Academy. I'm Brent Connelly.
And I'm John Schuetz. And as founding partners of Soar Wealth Strategies, we wanted to create a podcast to introduce you to everyday people who have created their own successes, taken that leap of faith, reached for the stars, Casey Kasem style, all that stuff.
That's right, John. And our guest today, who would have...
You didn't appreciate my Casey Kasem impersonation.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Whatever.
All right. Anyway, with her back against the wall, needing to support her children, Shandy persevered today to become the owner and operator of Shandy's Swedish Bakery located in Millard, Nebraska. Please welcome Shandy Thorell to the show.
Well, thank you, Brent and John. I appreciate you having me here.
It's great to have you. And, this always strikes a chord with me. I'm from small town Nebraska, and you also are from small town Nebraska, Wausau. So
Definitely.
What was life like for you growing up in a small town?
Farm kid, drive around the loop on Friday nights.
We did that too.
Burn a lot of gas up and down the 5 blocks of the main street.
Accomplished nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, we waved and honked at people that were going by. And that was high school. We helped out at the farm, and I had a job at the grocery store, and that was that.
So you grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
What was that? Did you have some responsibilities on this farm?
No, it was 2 girls and 1 boy. And my brother will tell you that he was always angry because we didn't have to do anything.
Worked out well for you.
Yes, it really did. I mean, we helped mom in the kitchen, but we didn't have to help on the farm, thankfully.
You never had the pleasure of using a corn knife.
Oh, I did. Oh, we walked beans. Okay, so we did do.
Here we go.
See, that's work.
Daily. Oh, yes, we walked beans. We walked corn. We bean boomed. We rode on one of those things. Yes, we did.
Yeah. So Shandy, for you and my mom, who are the listeners of this podcast, the corn knife is a running theme because I also walked beans, and Brent has no concept of what a corn knife is,
yes,
even to this day.
No, I'm learning though, and more and more of our guests, I'm learning have used a corn knife.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Some of us had to work.
Well,
anyway, go ahead. No, let's move on.
Move on. Yeah.
Let's go on. So, yeah, memories, any special memories, baking with your mother or grandmother, since you are in the baking industry, I'm guessing that maybe this is where this came from.
Yeah. I remember mom making cinnamon rolls, and she would make tons and tons and tons of cinnamon rolls and then wrap them up in the white paper. And then we'd have shelves full of cinnamon rolls that we'd pull out on the weekends. And I remember that. And I remember my grandma Crodeville making all kinds of Swedish things for Christmas, and my other grandma always making dinner rolls. And so, yeah, everybody baked. That was just a thing.
So is this where the recipes come from at your
Pretty
bakery?
much. Yeah. And also through the Wausau Tabor Lutheran cookbook, actually. I use that.
Really?
I even have that in the shop. I've shown some Wausau people that have come in that, hey, look, guys, I use our old cookbook.
I'll be darned. Very good. All right. So you leave Wausau and you head off to college to get a business degree, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you there's a note here that says you started writing training grants for nursing homes after school?
I did. That was way after school.
Yeah.
So after school, then I went into the corporate America and then did HR for a while. And then after I got married and trying to have kids. And then I really didn't like the corporate world, and I had some medical issues with the first pregnancy. And so I bowed out of the corporate world and just decided I was going to focus on family. But yeah, we still had to come up with the income, obviously. So that's kind of where my entrepreneur started.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 22 years ago. So my first business that I had was called Shandy Solutions, and it was writing training grants. Well, first of all, I wrote a policy manual for an HR, or for through the HR eyes for an assisted livings. All the assisted livings were starting back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote the policy manual for this company that was starting all these assisted livings in the small towns of Nebraska. And then the person that was on the board of this training grant said, we could do some of this stuff to get some money so you could teach these policies to all of these companies. So she kind of taught me how to write the grants and learn how to do that. And man, I just took off with that. And I wrote grants every quarter, got the grant approval. It was great for small businesses, for assisted livings, because then they got money to have a trainer come in and teach their employees policies, procedures, customer service, all that kind of stuff, which was me. And I got paid to be the trainer since I had my HR and business background. And
John, we could maybe use some of that expertise for HR.
How are you coming on that?
The HR manual. Yeah. We'll talk offline, Shandy. Yeah. As you can imagine, working with John all day, we definitely need an HR manual.
Oh, we need a manual.
Yeah, we need a manual. So, you're a stay-at-home mom. You're responsible for training up to 250 people, it sounded like, at a time.
Well, sometimes it just depended on how many employees each company had. So in an average quarter, I would have anywhere from 8 to 12 companies signed up.
Wow.
On a quarter. And then I would go out, but each grant was only depended on what they were training on, but usually it was just 1 hour that I would get paid 1 hour to come in and train their employees for 1 hour for a quarter. So I was gone roughly maybe 5 to 7 days a quarter, but all the rest of the time was home office with the kids. So it was fabulous. And I practiced baking and I did all kinds of we had a garden and all that kind of farm stuff on our little acreage in Emmett. So it was great.
So was the eye was it always an eye on someday I'd like to open a bakery, or was it?
I always had, I'm a food lover and I always loved to make food. So I remember in Emmett talking about wanting to maybe do a restaurant, or there was a building there that was going out of business. And I said, I think we could turn this into a restaurant. So I always had a thought maybe of being in the food industry, but it was not like I wasn't ever going to really do it. It was a dream, I guess. It was a wish on a star.
Well, when you wish upon, that's probably trademarked. We probably can't say that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. We don't mess with the mouse. Let's fast forward a little bit here. What prompted a move to Omaha from small town Nebraska, Emmett?
Well, that was mostly the husband at the time, the ex-husband now. He always wanted to be in the city, always wanted to live in the city. And at that time I was trying to take my training company into another level. So I wrote a book. I wanted to write a book. Actually, I was already writing a book and I wanted to publish it and then turn that into being a motivational speaker traveling around the nation.
Really?
So when he brought up moving to the city, I was really hesitant. I didn't want to, but yet then I also thought, well, maybe this is a good thing. I'll get closer to people that can influence or make things happen. I can get things moving with my book and my motivational speaking. And that was my plan. That wasn't the man's plan up in heaven. He had other plans for me.
Right. Well, it sounds like that grant writing dried up and it sounds like money got awfully tight.
It did.
And then you kind of had to go through that emergency fund. And John, we always talk to clients about that emergency fund. My goodness, so important.
Well, it is. And so I'd like to know, how did you keep the household afloat when all this was going on?
I guess we never got desperate enough to not be able to. I mean, we started asking we asked several family members for money for bills. The ex job wasn't really panning out and my grants just kept drying up and not coming through. And I think the wake up moment was when we realized we literally did not have grocery money to go buy the kids food. And that's kind of bad. You have 4 kids and you can't feed them.
Right. So, and that, as you mentioned, Brent, that emergency fund and just the building blocks, the basis of getting your financial house in order. And then these little interruptions that happen, or large interruptions that happen, don't totally derail a plan. Well, let's go back to this book that you wrote.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people talk about writing a book.
Yes, I did.
Few of us do, and you did.
I did.
What's it called?
It was called Surviving Life, How to Turn Nightmares into Dreams.
Sounds good.
So I have
You need
notes to make another one. Actually, I'm going to make another surviving life one, and then I'm going to make one on entrepreneurship. So
I love it.
Someday when I'm not baking anymore, I'll have more time.
How did you do on book sales? Did you make, was there nothing?
What I've learned in that book industry is books are mostly for your healing or your process or your career building. It's not necessarily about, unless you're a Harry Potter or something, you know, it's not about income.
Right.
It was almost therapy for you.
It was definitely,
as you were
absolutely.
going through those tough times.
Yeah.
Okay. So money's drying up. Grocery money is nil, tight, and we convert back to baking in grandma's kitchen with her. And tell me about the little red wagon.
Oh, yes. So I decided, I mean, I looked in the shelves and we had sugar, we had flour, I had some eggs and some milk, and I knew that I could turn this into something that maybe could make us some money. Crazy whim. I said, hey, let's bake some cinnamon rolls, guys. Let's do some stuff. And so then the kids and the ex on the weekends would pull the little red wagon around the neighborhood and knock on the doors.
Wow.
And we would sell warm dinner rolls, cinnamon rolls, bread. We had some white bread, I think we started with. I can't even remember what we... And I would raise the loaves in front of the fireplace. I thought it was so great because I had 20 loaves raising in front of the fireplace. And it was like I was back in the 1920s. I don't know. And then we'd go sell them out of the wagon, and it became a popular thing. People then were like, oh, come hit our house, knock on our door on Saturday. We want some cinnamon rolls. And
really, this is just a regular Saturday thing.
Yeah. We'd sell. Well, I think we did it. I think it was Saturday and Sunday. I can't remember if we did both weekends, days or not, but then we would get enough money to get us through the week. And then I'd start baking more. And then Fairway gave us a table and let us sell one Thanksgiving outside of the grocery store. I mean, I wasn't licensed or I wasn't anything. Yeah. They were just kind-hearted and let us have a table. And we sold for Thanksgiving Day goodies and dinner rolls and whatnot, and we made enough then to get through that Thanksgiving and have a little bit for Christmas presents, and it was great. And that kind of woke me up to, wow, this could turn into something.
Well, so wait a minute. I am assuming a grocery store chain, fairly sizable grocery store chain, just doesn't go around looking for, hey, we need somebody to go sell stuff outside of our store so that we don't sell it. How did you get in there?
I can convince people of a lot of things.
I don't think I've ever not bought something from a kid at my door. So,
well, but yeah, how did you get there?
I just went to the owner and was just like, hey, that we are a family in need, you know, and we have this, and here's some baked goods. Would you like to try my baked goods? And then they did, and they're like, and I'm like, and at that time, I mean, the kids were helping. So anytime you have kids helping,
there it is.
And, you know, we're trying to raise money for these kids to have a good Christmas. And they were so kind-hearted. I mean, Fairway's always been wonderful and kind-hearted. And I'm not trying to do a plug, but they were very nice. And they gave us a great little start there.
Not to mention their meat counter, but we don't want to go there right now because then I'll be a mess for the rest of the day. So, so how was that experience? What was your feeling in having to go through that? Because I could see where some people would say, this is beneath me having to do this sort of thing. But it doesn't sound like there was that at all. It's just, was this a survival?
Like it was survival mode. It was totally survival mode. I never thought anything it's not beneath trying to raise grocery money for your kids.
Correct.
There was nothing that I wasn't going to stoop to that.
Right.
So I never thought that at all. In fact, we were all very, very excited after that one day, and we had made, I can't remember now, it was probably like $300 and some, and we just thought we just made I mean, we were just ecstatic on how much we could make on this one table for these few hours, and we sold everything, and it was such a great feeling that I realized, oh man, this could be.
Well, and talk about the work ethic that has been installed in those kids now,
right?
You know, and that's a wonderful story, and I'm sure they remember that.
Well, I always say they know how hard it is for every penny that you make. They know the work that goes behind every penny and that's one thing that I feel like not every kid knows, and my kids definitely know that.
That is so true, because a lot of kids will see people in their adulthood. They see their parents, they're successful, they've just always been that way.
Yeah,
that's how it works in life. I just get handed a golden ticket.
Mhm.
And I think it's great that they had that experience with you that hopefully they can build on as well.
Yeah, I think when I mean, it's great too when you have a career and you get paychecks, but the kids see you going off to work. They don't actually see the blood, sweat, and tears that you had to do to get that when you get a paycheck. For us, it was blood, sweat, and tears, and a person handing you a $5 bill. I mean, you totally understand everything that went behind that $5 bill that they're handing you or whatever.
Right.
We're learning the free market system
Yeah.
in real time.
That's exactly right. And when we get back, we will see how Shandy went from door-to-door wagon sales to opening up her own shop. Hey, sorry for the interruption. I know you're listening to the podcast Financial Flight Academy, and we are so happy you're here. If you have any questions, please head over to soarwealthstrategies.com or the show notes to find out how to reach us. We would love to hear from you.
So back with Shandy from Shandy's Bakery. So it wasn't just a lucky coincidence that the sign already said Shandy's. It's you. Okay. No, I'm
Yes.
just kidding.
No,
So
honestly, that was one of my, I'm very disciplined and I set goals for myself and I set these benchmarks. And one goal that I'd always had in my lifetime and of the publishing the book and everything, I wanted to see my name up in lights.
right.
And that was, it was a weird thing, but I've had that ever since I was little. For some reason, I wanted, so when I put that sign on my building and the lights shone through that sign,
Yeah.
I knew
That's
I'd
pretty cool.
accomplished something.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, it's funny because back when, when I was in television, a lot of people will change their names just because, Schuetz is hard to spell. But I was always like, why am I going to let some other guy get credit for my work? Right.
Mhm.
So I get where you're coming from there. So how did you get from this wagon sales and outside of Fairway to actually a storefront?
So then I realized that I obviously could do this and make money. So I started searching the internet of what kind of craft fairs let people in, where can I start where can I start peddling my stuff, basically.
I love it.
Right? Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I found some high schools that spring. So we got through the winter. And then that spring, I found some high schools that were doing the craft fairs. And I started signing up for any and all craft fairs I could find. And then the Omaha Farmers Market, I put in an application for a weekly vendor there and I got approved. So then come May, when you start at the farmers market, you have to start as a weekly, which means it's hit and miss. They give you openings of when their permanent vendors are going to be gone on vacation or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So you have to earn your spot to be a permanent vendor there. But the first year I applied, I got to be a weekly and I didn't get my permanent vendor spot till like the third year in or so.
Wow.
So you have to earn your
way to hang in there.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Well,
So
was
so
tough.
now how did the storefront?
Well, okay, so yeah, I baked out of the house, which was just misery, awful. Awful. I would
Not exactly
recommend.
a commercial.
No,
kitchen.
I wouldn't recommend it because I'm growing. The farmers market's growing and I'm having to up the amount that I'm baking and up the amount in 2 little residential ovens, which was just awful. I worked
Better than the fireplace, but
well,
still,
that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree there. But I worked all the time, 18, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. It was nonstop. But then I got asked to come and share a space in a friend or a person that had opened a bakery in Ralston. And she asked me to rent space with her. And then I did that. And that was the first commercial space that I got into. And I realized, wow, you can really churn out a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. This is fabulous. But at that time, then I'd become a regular vendor at the farmer's market and I was growing so fast. And I outgrew the space that even I had there.
Now, with everything you'd been through to this point, and I find this very interesting. There was a seed of doubt that was
there's
planted.
been lots of seeds.
I know, but specifically, you tried to get back in the corporate world after all of this success.
Well, okay, yeah.
Just briefly touch on that.
Was that when I'm trying to get a regular job? That was when I was baking out of the house.
Okay.
And my life was literally falling apart.
Okay.
I mean, the marriage was falling apart and I was trying to grasp any straws and, he was begging me to try to get a regular life. And so I did. I went to some interviews and I think it's because I'd owned my own business for so long and it'd been 20 years since I'd actually worked for anybody. I just became irrelevant, I guess, in the world. I don't know. I got callbacks in a couple interviews, but nothing took off. So I knew that, okay, well, this is what is taking off. I have to roll with what's working.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, the marriage did fall apart, and the bakery then I took off in Ralston. And then since the divorce was going away, I started looking for investors and whatnot. And I had an angel investor come in and say, I think you could do something more here. I think you could grow exponentially if you had your own space. And yeah, I remember it was on my birthday and we were searching for places, my 45th birthday, and went and signed a lease on a place that I have now in Millard. And that was the first beginning of thinking, oh man, this could really happen.
And it's real because rent's coming.
Yeah.
Right. Were there some people who were naysayers?
No, there was people that just said that, the bakery business is a lot of effort, and you just signed a 5-year lease. That is a big commitment of time. And if you go under, you have to pay that whole lease, and over about how are you going to make that kind of money for this kind of rent and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. I said, I don't know.
Had some faith in yourself. Had some faith in yourself, right?
It's like a leap of faith.
But that's kind of, I'm curious about, I love the concept of a local bakery, but it seems like it would be quite a challenge when you got all these big box stores we have the largest, I won't name the grocery store in the world over here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you just think, I can do it better? Or what was your thinking?
Yeah, because, I knew that I could offer something that they couldn't, because I based everything on the saying was just like grandma made.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't use preservatives in my shop.
Nice.
So I bake banana bread the same way. Now I'm learning that I'm getting outdated, because when I tell the younger generation, just like grandma made, they're like, well, my grandma didn't bake bread. What are you talking about? So I realize I'm going to have to come up with a new slogan there.
Great grandma.
But, it's exactly like the grandma's made banana bread. And that's what took off. So I knew that I had something that the big box people didn't have.
Yep,
so I guess I just went with that, and it's just determination and I wasn't going to give up. I can't give up. I had to make this work. And now I'm a single mom. I definitely have to make this work.
There's something about not having a plan B, isn't there?
Yeah, there was no fallback. There was nothing. I wasn't getting hired anywhere. It was that or be the cashier at Walmart. And that still wasn't going to pay the bills. So,
yeah.
Well, and then COVID hit in 2020.
Yes.
And obviously very challenging for everyone, but especially small business owners. But yet you thrived. It was your best year yet, you said.
It was so I opened December of 2018. So we had 1 year of regular life, basically. And then, oh man, I just remember panicking so bad. When the whispers of COVID were starting to talk there in March or February and March, that thing started percolating. And I saw that the decrease in the shop was just awful. And I was so scared. Already it's the bad months of the year anyway.
Right.
And then it was just drying up, and I was freaking out. And then lockdown happened, and literally it changed overnight. Like within 4 days, lockdown happened. People started pouring in to buy, because I stayed open because I was a food industry, so I could still keep open. We did masks, and we're 6 feet apart anyway when we sell things, basically, because we got a big counter in front of us. But I stayed open and business just boomed. Cinnamon rolls boomed. I got a delivery driver. We started making deliveries. That year, I had to hire somebody, a school teacher that was not in school anymore. She came and helped me. She was a great helper. Donna got us through because I was breaking records left and right that year.
Wow. That is fantastic. So, hey, let's brag a little bit here, Shandy. Go ahead. I mean, tell us. Yeah. You are the people's choice, right?
2 times winning now, the Omaha World Herald People's Choice. The first year I won was 2021, and I won first place. And then this year it came out, I took second, but I still won. You get to claim winner in the first 3 categories.
Okay.
So.
Well, congratulations.
So I'm
That's
still,
fantastic.
I get the banner. I got the cred for it.
So let's, sorry, Brent, I feel like I'm dominating, but I really like baked goods. So, and I like to bake myself, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I make my mother's homemade rolls. Yes.
Oh.
Which are,
you talking dinner rolls, yeast rolls? What are you talking?
yes,
What kind of
yeast
rolls?
dinner rolls. Yes.
Okay.
The old,
I didn't know that about you.
hand rolled, my
rolled,
dear.
huh?
Yes. Hand rolled.
Okay.
You bet.
Good job.
I smell a rivalry coming.
No. I don't have those kind of skills. But what would you say your specialty is? You mentioned cinnamon rolls a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, the cinnamon
And I'm
rolls,
not against it, believe me.
Yeah. I've had several, the Omaha World Herald has picked me up several times for bringing up my cinnamon rolls, but really that's not the Swedish part. The
Right.
thing that was the most popular in the shop is the Scandinavian almond cake. And everybody loves this almond cake, and knock on wood, so far, no one else in Omaha bakes it. So nobody to steal the recipe. Nobody start doing this.
I have never heard of Scandinavian almond cake.
I have not either.
Yeah. It's a Swedish pound cake.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's an almond flavored pound cake. And
Interesting.
so you can do it's a blank canvas. You can do whatever you want with it.
And are these regularly available, or are they?
Yes, they're always on the shelves.
Okay.
Yes.
John.
But it's, can we go over there now?
No, I'm
Okay.
closed on Mondays. That's why I'm here.
Okay. Gotcha. So do you have a favorite, Brent? It seems like you may have a favorite that you're harboring.
When I
here.
first met Shandy, we found her business on Omaha Food Lovers,
Okay.
and my wife Amy. So our favorite is the caramel pecan rolls. And my wife Amy regularly has me go pick them up from you on Saturday
Yes.
mornings.
On Saturday mornings, we have cinnamon rolls and the caramel pecan rolls. The caramel sauce is my grandma's recipe,
Oh, really?
and it is a very special recipe. She has a little odd ingredient there that I will keep to myself, but it is
Oh.
grandma's recipe of the caramel sauce
Well, they're very good, and you have to get in there early to get them because they go fast.
on
Okay.
Saturdays. Yeah.
So where am I going to get these, Shandy?
Okay. So 138th and Q in the Millard Plaza.
Okay.
I'm right next to Razor and Shear Barbershop. I'm behind the Lord of Hosts Church.
Okay. That's
or
big.
behind, Shirley's Diner area.
Okay.
I'm just kind of tucked away. It's very secluded, but once people find me, they remember where I'm
I'll
at.
find you.
Yeah.
I'll sniff it out.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do. So
And you have a really good social media presence. So
Yes,
tell
thank
folks where
you.
they can find you there.
We're on Facebook, definitely. And I go live often because I was a public speaker. I kind of missed this whole speaking thing. I miss being just a baker. So I really like going live on Facebook, and people really react to that and do well with that. I also have a webpage, shandysbakery.com. I'm on Instagram. I think that's probably it. I'm not real social media wonderful, but I do have Facebook down. I got that one.
You do a great job. You go live, and I
I
like
do
your
go live.
little contest where you say, "Hey, what should I bake now?"
Oh, I do.
So-
I ask people, and it gets them involved, and they all come up with a new thing. Some of them I think are far-fetched, but some of them are wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. You know, your
Yes.
story of inspiration is exactly what this podcast is about.
It is. And it's just goes to show again, sometimes you got to block the naysayers out. You can take things into account, but never let someone else tell you what you can or can't accomplish. And
Oh, absolutely.
you're a fantastic example of that. So,
Thank
hey, stay positive out there, everybody.
That's right. That's right. Stay positive and remember why you work so hard for your family. We always talk about family comes first around here.
Yep.
And that's important.
Shandy, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank
We
you. Thank you
appreciate
for
you
having
being
me.
here. Brent, tell us how folks can get in touch with us.
Well, please.
We might even have some roles available if you
Gosh.
come in. I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't promise that.
Well, again, thank you for coming, Shandy. And you can certainly check out Shandy's podcast and other podcast guests that we've had on our website, soarwealthstrategies.com. If you'd like to learn more about how we help families, don't hesitate to call our office at 531-867-3400. We'd love you to come in and schedule a fit meeting to get to know you better and see how we might be able to help you or your family. Thank you all for listening to Financial Flight Academy.
We'll
And-
catch you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Financial Flight Academy podcast. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our website at soarwealthstrategies.com. or give us a call at 531-867-3400. And don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Soar Wealth Strategies. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service providers with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.